Ever get that feeling? Kind of prickly, like someone's energy is just
Yeah.
off?
Oh, yeah.
Like your body's speaking a language you can't quite decipher, but you know that exactly friendly.
Right, right.
Well, today, we're going deep on that. Aggressive body language.
Interesting. And you found a pretty interesting source for this. Grab the Axe, a security firm.
Yeah, not your typical body language gurus, are they?
Not exactly.
That's what caught my eye. I've got their article right here. And these folks, it's clear, they're not just, what's the word, talking theory.
Mm-hmm.
Their bio mentions backgrounds in law enforcement, even experience working on death row.
Whoa.
I mean, to talk about intense environments.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how they apply that kind of knowledge to, reading aggression in everyday life.
Yeah, it's like they've seen the extreme end, right? Gives them a different perspective, maybe, a unique insight into how aggression, even the subtle ways it can, manifest.
Exactly. So their article, it's all about giving us, the average person, the tools to decode this like silent language, whether it's a tense meeting at work, dealing with a difficult personality, or just wanting to be more, aware of your surroundings.
Sure. Because sometimes just recognizing those early warning signs, those little cues, that can be the difference between, diffusing a situation and things going completely sideways.
Absolutely. And GTA, they emphasize this point right off the bat.
Yeah.
Aggression, it's not always about the words.
Yeah.
It's the message your body is sending out, consciously or unconsciously.
Right.
Like, have you ever thought about it this way? When someone approaches you and they've got that rigid posture, their arms are crossed tight, maybe even a clenched jaw, I mean, your gut, it reacts instinctively, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't need them to say a word to know something's not right.
It's like that, what is it? The caveman brain, like danger, danger.
Exactly.
We're hardwired to pick up on those signals because for our ancestors, misreading those signals
Oh, yeah.
could have meant, well,
Big trouble.
not good.
So it's not just paranoia. It's literally in our DNA to pay attention to these cues.
Precisely. And it goes beyond those big, obvious signs. GTA gets into those little details, those subtle cues that, honestly, I think a lot of us, we miss them or we misinterpret them completely.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, things like prolonged eye contact, invading personal space, even just slightly.
Oh, I hate that.
Right. It can be just as significant as a raised voice or, a threatening stance.
And this is where it gets really interesting because they have this example and it seems so small, but a pointed finger,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
which in a lot of contexts might just be emphasis, right?
Sure.
But GTA, they highlight how easily that can flip into a threat.
How so?
It's like that finger becomes a weapon,
Uh.
all that negative energy directed right at you. Suddenly, a casual conversation, not so casual anymore.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it changes the whole tone.
And that's the power, I think, of understanding these subtleties. You're not overreacting. You're picking up on like a shift in the energy, a potential escalation before
Yeah.
things go too
It's
far.
being proactive.
And what I appreciate about GTA is they don't just give you the what of aggressive body language, like here are the signs. They get into the why, which I think is so important.
The why is huge, and it's not just about becoming like a human lie detector. It's about understanding the motivation behind the aggression.
Okay, so let's dig into some of these specific cues because, GTA's article is full of them, and I have a feeling our listeners are ready to, sharpen their own body language radar.
So GTA, they actually start with this idea of personal space.
What?
It's like, we've all got our bubble. This
And
boundary we just, instinctively maintain.
we've all felt that, like, ugh, when someone invades it, even a little. But why is that? What's going on there?
Well, and GTA talks about this, it's like a primal fear response almost. Like, think about it. Way back when, right? Someone gets in your face, it's not just rude, it was often a prelude to something way worse.
Oh, totally. Like, this is how fights used to start. Better get ready.
Exactly, that fight or flight kicking in. And it's interesting how, most of us aren't facing down, saber-toothed tigers these days.
Right.
But our bodies,
So react.
yeah, they haven't quite caught up to, like, modern life.
So then understanding those little cues can be super crucial. It's not paranoia. It's, like you said, early warning signs.
Mm.
And GTA gives another example that really, it stuck with me. Eye contact.
Ah, yes, the eyes,
Yeah.
windows to the soul or something like that.
Right. Because most of us, you make eye contact, you break it, it's
Right.
natural, right? But they talk about prolonged eye contact, like that being a red flag.
It can be, definitely.
And they go into, like, the psychology of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So they explain, in the animal kingdom, staring like that, it's often a dominance display. It's literally like a challenge.
Yeah.
So when someone's just locking eyes with you and not breaking contact, even if they're silent, it can feel, I don't know,
Intense.
intense is a good word for it.
Well, yeah, because your subconscious is like, hold on, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It is. Like
Yep.
that silent standoff in a Western, you can practically hear the tumbleweed.
There you go. And what's so interesting is, these cues, we think of them as universal,
Yeah.
but it's not always that simple, is it? GTA actually, they emphasize how important cultural sensitivity is.
Oh, absolutely. Because what might be aggressive in one culture is totally normal, even respectful
Yeah.
in another.
Exactly. Like they give the example of hand gestures, right? Common in some places, but could be totally misconstrued.
Oh, don't even get me started. I was traveling one time, nearly caused an international incident with a hand gesture. It meant something totally different there. Awkward.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's not always intuitive. We have to be like cultural detectives almost.
Gathering clues.
Yeah.
But we got to be mindful of, our own biases when we're interpreting.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay, so we're like on high alert now. We're reading the room, we're picking up the cues, those alarm bells are going off.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do when that happens? How do we actually deal with someone who's, giving off all the aggressive vibes?
Wow, the million-dollar question. Well, luckily, GTA gives us some tools. They call it de-escalation tactics.
Okay, let's talk tactics. De-escalation tactics sounds kind of intense, right?
It does, doesn't it? Like something out of, I don't know, a police drama or something.
Right.
But GTA makes it clear this is like essential for everyday life.
Good to know.
And they break it down into two main things. Verbal, so what
Yeah.
you say, and then the nonverbal stuff.
Okay, so let's start with the talking part. What's the magic phrase? Is there like a script for this?
Oh, I wish. Wouldn't that be great? Just like, memorize these 3 sentences and you're good.
Right.
But no, it's not that easy. GTA stresses staying calm is key, though. Your tone of voice, it's huge.
Makes sense, yeah.
If you're, like, matching that aggression.
Oh, yeah, that never works.
It just throws fuel on the fire, right? But here's the thing I found interesting. You can acknowledge someone's feelings without, like, agreeing with them. They give this example. I understand. This is frustrating.
Oh, that's good. It's like you're validating how they feel, which can be disarming, but you're not getting sucked into like the actual argument.
Precisely. You create a little space, for a reason to maybe like seep back in.
And sometimes that's all it takes, right? Just that
Yeah.
feeling of being heard.
Absolutely. It can de-escalate things faster than logic sometimes.
It's like you're saying, hey, I see your anger. I'm not ignoring it, but maybe there's a better way to handle this.
Right, exactly. Now, the nonverbal stuff is interesting too. Remember we talked about like those primal instincts?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those react to body language even more strongly than words sometimes.
So it's like that mirroring thing, right? If
Yeah.
someone comes at me, arms crossed, scowling, what? Hug them. Just kidding. But seriously, what am I doing with my body when I'm internally freaking out?
Well, GTA, they're big on this open stance. Hands visible, maybe palms open if you can manage it.
So they can see I'm not holding a weapon, basically.
Essentially, it's like embodying that, hey, I'm not a threat message.
Okay, makes sense. What about space? Because we said someone in your face, that sets off those alarm bells.
Right, so maintain a safe distance. If possible, you don't want to crowd them, but backing into a corner, that can make things worse.
It's tricky, right? Finding that balance.
It is. It's like this delicate dance. And this kind of brings us to, well, GTA's whole perspective,
How so?
Throughout the article, there's this underlying thing about objects that could be used defensively. Like they're always, I don't know, scanning the room, not just for the aggression, but like potential tools or escape routes even.
Wow, yeah, that's next level awareness.
It's subtle, but it says a lot about their experience. Right?
Absolutely. Like you said, they've been in situations where any object could be, life or death.
Exactly. So for them, it's not just about avoiding a tense moment. It's bigger than that. It's about, I don't know, developing this really heightened awareness of everything around you.
And that awareness, that's not paranoia. It's like being prepared, giving yourself options.
Exactly. And that leads us to, I think, the final takeaway, the question GTA leaves us with. It's a big one.
Okay, hit me.
When does defending yourself cross the line?
Whoa. Yeah, that's a heavy one. No easy answers there.
No, not at all. God, every situation, it's different. Every context is different. But I think what GT is getting at is by understanding aggression, by having these tools we've talked about, we make better choices in those moments. We go from just reacting to actually responding.
Instead of feeling powerless, we're empowered.
Exactly. And sometimes, the most powerful move is knowing when to just walk away.
You know what? That's some seriously solid advice. Well, on that note, we'll leave everyone with that to ponder. Big thanks to GTA for giving us so much to think about. Until next time, everybody, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, knowledge is power. Especially when it comes to this silent language of aggression.